Alright, so let's talk about walking. I'm going to give you two really basic tips that I want you to keep in mind whenever you are walking. Now, you can take these into walking with a stroller, into running as you get there, onto the treadmill, okay? But I need you to think about them. So the first one is your chin. So what tends to happen when people walk or run or, go up the stairs? They tend to tuck their chin out, okay? And look what happened to my pelvis when I did that. I hunched, putting pressure down. I tucked my pelvis under, putting pressure onto my pelvic floor. And when I bring it back in, everything kind of straightens up again, okay? So if you take nothing else away from this video, I want you to really think about your chin. So don't let this happen when let's just say you're powering up a hill. Don't let this happen, right? Because you're going to tuck, hunch, put pressure down on your pelvic floor, put pressure out onto your diastasis. So no matter what you do, I want you to think about bringing your chin in. We have 3 floors in our body. So the floor of our mouth, our diaphragm, and our pelvic floor. And our body functions best when those 3 floors are in line. So when one floor is out of line, then the pressure system doesn't work. So, tucking our chin. We also want for our posture when we're walking to be standing tall. So that's the pull up from your ponytail. So the crown of your head being tall, not up tall, straight up. So it's nearly like you're moving yourself slightly forward, chin tucked, ribs down, and that's how you're going to think about walking, okay? So, chin tucked, standing tall, ribs down. This position will engage your core, so you're nice and safe. We've protected our pelvic floor, and we're going to walk in that position. Now that goes for whether you're on the treadmill, whether you're walking uphill, whether you're pushing a stroller, anytime. So tuck, tall, ribs down. And you might find that you need to put your weight slightly further forward. So I know we've talked a lot about being mid, so weight right over your arches. But when you're walking, especially uphill, you may want to think about shifting your weight slightly forward to do that walking motion. Now, by now you would have tested whether you're a hamstring fire or a glute fire. So this is also important when walking because your leg is extending. And if you're using your hamstring as that main extender, your glutes are getting weak. They're not doing the workout that they're meant to. Your hamstrings are getting tighter. So again, our back of our legs getting tight. So when you're walking, I want you to really think about pushing off with your glutes, not your hamstrings. So pushing off with your glutes and not pulling forward with your hip flexors. Okay, it's a subtle difference. And this is one that's vitally important on a treadmill. Because of the treadmill, the bottom is already moving. It's so much easier for you to pull forward rather than push, okay? So be really conscious when you're walking of pushing off with that back leg, firing the glute. Think of it this way. Every time you walk, you're getting a butt workout. Can't be bad for you. Okay. Last thing I want to talk to you about is how you heel strike. So a lot of people try to walk fast and they do a big step. Okay, so we have a wide stance and they strike with their heel. Now, when you have a wide step like that, look what happens to the pelvis. Okay, it comes forward and this is opening out your pelvic floor. So when your pelvis is in this posterior tilt like this, the bottom of your pelvic is open. So your pelvic floor has no support whatsoever. So that pressure down is going straight into your pelvic floor. Now, when you shorten your stride and do this midfoot stride, you can see your pelvis can stay neutral, which means that there's a bit of bone support around your pelvic floor on that pressure downwards, which means it's much more supported. So I want you to start thinking of making midfoot strikes rather than heel strikes. So midfoot and slightly shorter steps. So midfoot, push, midfoot, push. Okay? So let's put all of that together. We are going to tuck our chin, stand tall, ribs down, and we're going to go with midfoot push, midfoot push. Okay? So 3 tips. I think I was going to say just 2 right at the beginning, but we've got 3. So really think about your posture. So chin, tall, ribs down, and hit with that midfoot strike and push off, don't pull, okay? If you're pulling, you're tightening your hip flexors. If you're pushing, you're using your glutes, and that's what we want to use when we walk. Okay, I hope this was useful.